I wanted to read to you today on World Book Day, Anansi the Spider-Man by Philip Sherlock. So of course on World Book Day I'd usually go into a couple of schools, but it is snowed out, the Beast in the East is here in London, so I'm going to be reading the stories online so everybody can watch it. I'm going to be reading Brother Breeze and the Pear Tree. Everybody ready? Sitting nicely? Let's begin. Anansi had a large pear tree in his front garden. It was a very large tree with wide spreading branches and leaves of dark green. It was not the pear tree that grows in the gardens of northern countries. This tree bore avocado pears. The fruit was larger than a man's fist, with a large single seed inside and a thick green skin. Every year the tree bore so heavily the branches almost seemed to bend under the weight. Then Brer Anansi and his family turned down their pot and stopped cooking. They lived on bread and pears until there was no more pears to eat. One day it happened that Anansi was sitting under the tree, looking up at the pears that hung on the heavy tree. They were not quite ready for picking, but they soon would be ready. He looked up and tried to count. There were too many. As he counted, he licked his lips and wondered if perhaps one day one of the pears would be ready for picking on the following day. But that night a strong breeze blew and Brer Anansi became very, very anxious. He knew how easy it would be for the breeze to blow all the pears from the tree. The breeze blew harder and harder, so that he began to fear lest it blow the roof from the house. But next morning, however, the breeze fell. It was very, very quiet outside. There was silence everywhere. Anansi opened the door and ran into the garden. When he saw what had happened to the pear tree, he began to shout and lament. It had broken the tree and filled the garden with leaves, with broken branches. Anansi saw that many years would pass before the pear tree recovered. Anansi's wife and children heard his shouts and ran to him. They too lifted up their voices and wept, "Why, why, why?" By and by, Anansi turned to his wife and said, make me think, oh, what me I got to know?" For a time he thought, and then he said, "I'm going to find the place where Brother Breeze lives and I'll ask him to pay me for the pear tree." "Yes," said Crooky, Anansi's wife, "he must pay for our fine pear tree. Look at it now, with its branches all torn off." And she began to weep again. Anansi set off. He walked a long way and he asked many people to show him the road to the house where Breeze lived. When at last he came to the house, he stood outside for a moment and then he knocked. A loud voice from within asked, "Who is that?" If you want to hear the rest of that story, you will need to read this book, Anansi, one of my favourites for World Book Day.